The world has always revolved around energy. From the moment humans discovered fire, to the first coal mines, to the massive oil fields of the Middle East, energy has dictated power, money, and even war. But today, in a place many never expected, a new chapter is being written. Africa, a continent that the world has long underestimated in the tech and automotive race, has just unveiled something so disruptive, so impossible, that the giants of oil and even Tesla are shaking. A free energy car dealership. Yes, you heard that right. Cars that don't need charging stations, don't rely on gas, and don't even depend on the electricity grid. Vehicles that power themselves. And Africa has just opened the first dealership that sells them to the public. Imagine walking into a showroom, where instead of being told about gas mileage or how long it takes to charge, you're told, this car never needs fuel. Never needs charging. It runs on free energy. At first, it sounds like a scam.
Too good to be true.
But the test drives, the technology demonstrations, and the engineers behind it prove otherwise. And now, global media, oil tycoons, and automakers are scrambling. Because if this spreads, it doesn't just hurt business, it ends an entire empire built over a century. Inside the headquarters of a major oil corporation in Houston, executives sit around a long polished oak table. Their faces are pale, jaws clenched. A giant screen behind them plays a news broadcast. The anchor's voice trembles with excitement as she says, "Breaking news tonight. Africa has just opened the world's first free energy car dealership, selling vehicles that don't require fuel or charging. Analysts are calling this the most disruptive invention since the Model T Ford." The room is silent. Finally, a gray-haired executive slams his fist on the table. This is a threat to everything we've built. Billions of dollars, decades of infrastructure, gone. Do you understand what this means? Another executive, younger, nervously adjusts his tie. "Sir, the stock market is already reacting. Our shares are down 6% since the news broke." And across the ocean, in a bright, bustling city in Africa, crowds gather around the gleaming glass building of the dealership. Inside, engineers explain the science, the innovation, the bold leap that made these cars possible. Cameras flash, journalists shout questions, influencers livestream to millions. A young engineer, Samuel, speaks passionately into a microphone. This isn't just a car. It's freedom. For too long, we've been told we need to buy oil, build charging stations, rely on grids controlled by someone else. Not anymore. Africa is showing the world that energy should be free, and cars should serve people, not corporations. The crowd erupts in applause.
Back in Silicon Valley, Tesla essaie de Carter is buzzing.
Elon Musk himself, watching the live stream, leans back in his chair. For years, Tesla has been the undisputed pioneer in EVs, pushing the dream of a sustainable future. But this is different. A car that doesn't even need to plug in. His engineers whisper behind closed doors. Some are skeptical. Others look terrified. Because Tesla's crown jewel, the supercharger network, becomes useless in a world where cars charge themselves. Meanwhile, the media spins into overdrive. CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, YouTube channels, TikTok creators, everyone is talking about it. Headlines scream, "The end of oil? Africa launches free energy cars."
Game over for Tesla. New African invention could change the world forever.
And in homes around the world, ordinary people watch in disbelief. A taxi driver in New York shakes his head. No gas? No charging?
Man, if that is real, he won't one tomorrow.
A mother in London scrolls through the news on her phone. This could save us thousands a year. But will they even let it reach us? Because here's the truth, revolutionary technology rarely spreads easily. It threatens the powerful. And the powerful fight back. Already, whispers emerge of lobbying. Oil companies rushing to governments, warning of economic collapse, job losses, national security risks. Lobbyists drafting bills to regulate or study free energy vehicles, delaying their arrival in Western markets. Behind closed doors, oil executives and politicians shake hands, exchanging promises and checks. But the genie is out of the bottle. Africa has taken the first step, and the world has seen it. Videos of the cars driving endlessly without refueling go viral. Engineers post schematics online, fueling debates. Is it magnetic propulsion?
0 point énergie, a breakthrough in solar intégration.
Everyone wants to know, but the companies behind it guard their secrets fiercely. Inside the dealership, customers line up. A businessman from Kenya.
A farmer from Nigeria.
A student from South Africa. They all want to own the future. Test drives confirm what the hype promised. The cars glide silently, endlessly.
Without a single stop for energy.
And every satisfied driver becomes a walking advertisement, proving that the impossible has become reality. But in a hidden corner office, Samuel, the engineer, confides to his colleague, they won't take this lying down. Big oil has toppled governments, started wars, destroyed competitors. Do you think they'll let us roll this out globally without a fight? His colleague, a woman named Amina, nods solemnly. They're terrified. And when the powerful are terrified, they get dangerous. But we've come too far to stop.
Enzo begins the battle.
A battle not just for cars, not just for business, but for the very definition of freedom in the 21st century.
The story of humanity is the story of energy.
It has always been that way. From the first time we struck flint against stone to spark fire, to the roaring coal engines that powered the Industrial Revolution, to the endless oil rigs drilling into the earth, energy has never just been about survival. It has been about control.
Hoover controlled énergie, controlled money. Hoover controlled money, controlled nation.
And for over a century, oil has been the king.
Oil fueled the cars we drive, the plane we fly, the wars we fight.
Oil made billionaires, toppled governments, and enslaved economies. But every empire falls. And in the most unexpected corner of the world, Africa, a revolution has begun. A revolution so bold, so unthinkable, that the kings of oil are shaking in fear. Tonight, we're talking about something that was once considered impossible: the world's first free energy car dealership. A place where you can walk in, test drive a vehicle, and be told with a straight face, this car never needs fuel. It never needs charging. It powers itself. Forever. At first glance, it sounds like a scam, like the kind of too good to be true ad you scroll past on the internet. But this isn't clickbait. This isn't a scam. This is real, demonstrated, and already in the hands of African consumers.
Picture this.
A massive glass-walled dealership in the heart of Lagos, Nigeria. Sleek electric cars, each one gleaming under the bright showroom lights. Customers step inside, their footsteps echoing on the polished floor. A salesman, dressed in a sharp black suit, smiles confidently as he gestures toward a car. This vehicle, he says, does not need gasoline. It does not need charging stations. It creates its own energy as you drive. You will never stop for fuel again. The customers laugh nervously.
Some whisper.
Others cross their arms, skeptical. But then, they are invited outside.
The salesman a ouvert the keys.
The customer slides into the driver's seat, starts the car, and takes it onto the road. They drive for an hour. 2 hours. 3. No fuel gauge moves. No battery percentage drops. The car runs, effortlessly, endlessly. By the time they return, their skepticism is gone. What was once unbelievable is now undeniable. News spreads like wildfire. Videos hit TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. A clip of one customer shouting, "It just doesn't stop," gets 20 million views overnight.
The world takes notice.
And somewhere in Houston, Texas, the headquarters of one of the largest oil corporations on Earth is in chaos. Inside a mahogany-paneled boardroom, executives sit around a long table. On the giant wall screen, a live news broadcast from Africa plays. The anchor can barely contain her excitement. Breaking news tonight: Africa has officially opened the world's first dealership for free energy cars. Analysts are calling this the most disruptive innovation since the Model T. The executives stare at the screen in silence. Finally, one of them, a man in his 60s with silver hair and a voice hardened by decades of power, slams his fist on the table so hard that coffee cups rattle. This is a direct threat to our entire industry. Do you realize what this means? Billions of dollars invested in pipelines, refineries, tankers, rigs, worthless. If this spreads, we are finished. Another executive, younger and visibly nervous, swallows hard. Sir, Wall Street already reacted. Our shares are down 6% just in the last hour. The silver-haired man glares at him. That's just the beginning. If the public believes this technology is real, oil demand could collapse overnight. We need a plan. Halfway across the world, in a buzzing African city, the mood couldn't be more different. Crowds flood the dealership, some just curious, others desperate to buy.
News crews push through the mass.
Influencers film every corner, eager to be the first to upload content that might go viral. On stage, an engineer named Samuel steps forward. Young, brilliant, and fiercely passionate, Samuel helped develop the technology. He lifts a microphone, his voice calm but charged with conviction. This isn't just a car, he says.
This is indépendance.
For too long, people have been told that energy must come from the few, that we must buy it from them, that we must be dependent. But today, Africa shows the world another way. Energy should be free. Cars should serve people, not corporations. The crowd erupts in cheers. Journalists scribble furiously. Cameras flash.
Across the ocean, in Silicon Valley, the headquarters of Tesla buzz with tension.
For over a decade, Tesla has been the symbol of innovation, pushing the world toward electric vehicles. Their network of superchargers was considered untouchable, their technology unmatched. But this changes everything. Inside Tesla's design center, a group of engineers huddle around a large screen, replaying the viral clips from Africa. One mutters under his breath, "If this is real, our entire supercharger network becomes obsolete." Another shakes his head.
It can't be real.
There must be a trick. Physics doesn't work like that. But in the corner of the room, a senior engineer speaks quietly. It looked real to me. Elon Musk himself, watching from his office, doesn't speak. He just leans back in his chair, his fingers steepled under his chin, eyes narrowed. He knows better than anyone that technology once dismissed as impossible often becomes reality faster than anyone expects. Meanwhile, global media goes into overdrive. CNN runs with the headline, "The End of Oil? Africa's free energy car dealership opens." BBC calls it the most disruptive invention of the 21st century. Al Jazeera asks, has Africa just leapfrogged the West? Ordinary people around the world are captivated. A taxi driver in New York stares at his phone, watching clips of the cars. If that's real, I'm done paying for gas. Done. A mother in London, already struggling with rising energy bills, scrolls through Twitter and whispers, "This could save us thousands." But will they even let it reach us? Because history has shown something very clearly. Revolutionary technology rarely spreads smoothly. The more it threatens the powerful, the more resistance it faces. And this is not just disruptive, this is existential. Lobbyists begin moving instantly. Oil companies send urgent calls to senators, ministers, and presidents. Behind closed doors, they warn of economic collapse, of mass job losses, of national security risks. Draft bills are drawn up overnight to regulate or delay the import of unverified energy technologies. But no law can stop what the world has already seen.
The genie is out of the bottle.
Inside the dealership, the waiting list grows. A businessman from Kenya.
A farmer from Nigeria.
A student from South Africa. People from all walks of life want to own the future. Every test drive becomes another testimonial, another viral video proving that this is not a hoax. Late at night, Samuel sits with his colleague Amina, another engineer who has dedicated her life to the project. They talk quietly in the corner of the dealership, away from cameras. They won't let this happen easily, Samuel says. His face is serious, his voice heavy. Big Oil has toppled governments before. They've started wars to protect their profits. Do you really think they'll let us sell these cars worldwide? Amina looks at him, her eyes calm but resolute. They're terrified. And when the powerful are terrified, they fight. But this time, we're ready. We've built this for the people, not for them.
We've come too far to turn back now. Samuel knows slowly.
He knows she's right. But he also knows what's coming. And so, as the world watches in awe, a storm begins to brew. A storm that will pit ordinary people's dream of freedom against the entrenched power of trillion-dollar empires. And in that storm, the question is not just who will win. The question is whether the world will ever be the same again.